State police closed the highway at marker 9. By 10 o'clock, every room was taken except 12. 12 was mine. It had been mine so long, I had stopped noticing the difference between privacy and hiding.
Highways closed at marker 9. Wind took the telephone line. If you're coming in, come in. 11 beds and 12 brass keys, one ice machine that howls in heat, a swimming pool without a drop, a vacancy sign that cannot stop, blinking red against the sand like mercy with a payment plan. Put any name you like right here, the register records the fear. I don't ask what made you run, the stone will ask before it's done. No vacancy for the innocent, we filled those rooms years ago, but liars, lovers, penitents, we always find a place for those. No vacancy for the innocent, don't worry, neither am I. Hang your story on the door, keep the truest part inside. Room 2 leans toward the road, room 5 complains when water flows, 6 remembers every song, 9 knows when a man is wrong, 12 is private, 12 is mine, don't mistake a lock for a sign. Coffee's black, the towels are thin, the weather says you're staying in. I don't promise sleep or grace, only shelter, time and space. No vacancy for the innocent, we filled those rooms years ago, but liars, lovers, penitents, we always find a place for those. No vacancy for the innocent, don't worry, neither am I. Hang your story on the door, keep the truest part inside. One bride without a husband, one preacher without a prayer, one driver with a letter, one singer losing air, one gentleman with 3 good names, one woman folding sheets, 6 saints without a candle, no halo in between, and me behind the counter, keeping 12 from being seen. No vacancy for the innocent, the sign went dark at 10. By morning some will leave as liars, some may leave as them. No vacancy for the innocent, the wind has blocked the sky. Turn the key and meet the person your story kept outside. Last chance motor court, cash in advance. .
The first one through the storm was a bride in one shoe driving a church Cadillac. She gave her name as June Bell. The car gave a different testimony.
White dress, gray at the hem, one barefoot, one borrowed Benz. No, a Cadillac, parish blue, first Redeemer on the rear view. I hit the gravel doing 60, veil wrapped tight around the frame. May said, honey, that's a getaway. I said marriage was the cage. Bride in a borrowed car, I'm going nowhere very fast. Rice still caught beneath the wipers, my future running out of gas. Bride in a borrowed car, I'll put the keys down when I can. I can give the car back Sunday, I don't have to take the man. The preacher faltered halfway through Corinthians. He looked up from love is patient, like he couldn't breathe again. And then my groom said, keep it simple, smile and stand where you are placed. I saw 40 years go past me in the calmness of his face. Bride in a borrowed car, I'm going nowhere very fast. Rice still caught beneath the wipers, my future running out of gas. Bride in a borrowed car, I'll put the keys down when I can. I can give the car back Sunday, I don't have to take the man. One church Cadillac, one half tank, 3 hymnals, a tire iron, a bag of peppermints, no divine instructions. I know I stole the Cadillac, I know running isn't brave, but everybody at that altar loved me best when I behaved. If I stayed another minute, I would learn to disappear. Outside the dust erased the chapel, inside I was standing here. Bride in a borrowed car, I'm not forgiven or condemned. I will face the preacher Sunday, I will never face that man. Bride in a borrowed car, veil dropped in the office can. I can give the keys back honestly, I don't have to give my hand. Keys on the counter, no ring on my hand.
Reverend Abel Cole arrived without his Cadillac and, by the look of him, without several other things he had expected to keep forever. I gave him room 4 and did not charge him for the Bible.
The trooper left me at the office with my Bible and my coat. May poured coffee, asked no questions. Wind drove sand across the road. I had preached that love was patient. Then my voice forgot the line. 40 faces waited for me. I gave them borrowed words for mine. I'm a reverend without a radio, no signal in the wire. I know every word for heaven. I don't know what I desire. Reverend without a radio, nothing coming through. If I cannot hear the answer, what gives me the right to speak for you? June was sitting in the third row, still dressed for someone's plan. When I said that love was patient, she looked straight at that man. Maybe silence was my sermon. Maybe failure set her free. But I cannot call it providence to make her theft about me. I'm a reverend without a radio, no signal in the wire. I know every word for heaven. I don't know what I desire. Reverend without a radio, nothing coming through. If I cannot hear the answer, what gives me the right to speak for you? I don't think that God abandoned me. I think I used his name to keep from telling frightened people I was frightened just the same. If the road is open Sunday, I will stand where I have stood and say I do not know the ending. Maybe truth can still do good. Reverend without a radio, let the dead air be. I have filled the room with answers. Now the room can answer me. Reverend without a radio, no thunder sign or proof. Faith may not be certainty. Tonight it may be true. No signal
Ray Mercer drove freight because freight did not ask questions. That night, he carried one envelope that asked plenty. It had Lila Voss written across the front.
She climbed aboard near Barstow, yellow backpack, bitten nails. Said you heading east through Cinder. I said if the weather fails. She slept from noon to Needles, woke up 5 miles from the line, wrote a name across an envelope and handed it to mine. Long haul letter on the dashboard, face down, sealed tight. Some words are not your cargo, even when you drive all night. Long haul letter getting heavier with every mile you do. The hardest thing to carry is a truth not meant for you. She said her name is Lila Voss. She sings at county bars. Tell her Nell is doing better. Don't tell her where we are. I ask why not the post box. She smiled without relief. Because a stamp can bring it back, a stranger has to leave. Long haul letter on the dashboard, face down, sealed tight. Some words are not your cargo, even when you drive all night. Long haul letter getting heavier with every mile you do. The hardest thing to carry is a truth not meant for you. At 2 a.m. outside the office, I held it to the light. I could have made her grief my story. No one would know that night. Then through the storm I heard a woman singing scales in number 6. I put the letter in my jacket. Some doors deserve a knock, not tricks. Long haul letter at her doorway, my part almost through. I cannot make her open it, I cannot read it too. Long haul letter, light as paper, heavy as we choose. Sometimes being trusted means accepting what you lose. 3 knocks, then room 6 went still.
Lila had spent 30 years learning how to enter a room. The letter under her door required a different talent.
ashes on the sink, singing to a motel mirror that had learned not to blink. She wore the voice from '89, low satin polished smoke. The high note lived in photographs. Tonight it bent, but never broke. Put my name above the bandstand, pour the spotlight like champagne. If the room believes I'm wanted, I can almost do the same. Put my name above the bandstand, let the final letters glow. Lila Voss can hold an audience. It's the leaving she can't hold. She had missed 3 birthdays touring, then a 4th one out of pride. When Nell stopped asking where she was, Lila called the silence kind. She sent money every Christmas, never once came back around. There are ways to leave a daughter without ever leaving town. Put my name above the bandstand, pour the spotlight like champagne. If the room believes I'm wanted, I can almost do the same. Put my name above the bandstand, let the final letters glow. Lila Voss can hold an audience. It's the leaving she can't hold.
The envelope said Lila, not mother. That was honest. She opened it anyway.
Nell wrote, I am not forgiving you. I am learning not to wait. I wanted you to know I'm living, and that is all I came to say. Lila, read the 4 lines twice, then took her lashes from the sink. No orchestra can save a woman from the truth she has to think. Take my name down from the bandstand, let the bare electric show. I mistook being remembered
One page beginning. Dear Nell.
The gentleman signed Vincent Vale. His shoes said Phoenix, his papers said money, and the way he looked at room 12 said family.
He arrived in polished leather while the sky was turning brown. One small case, no reservation, teeth too white for Cindertown. Asked if 12 was free, I told him 12 has never been for rent. He signed Vincent Val in blue ink with a flourish at the end. 3 names on the register, one hand holding the pen. You can change the introduction, you cannot change where you've been. 3 names on the register, all dressed up to agree. But a name becomes expensive when the room remembers 3. In Phoenix he was Michael Stone, consulting real estate. In Reno he was David Cross, a minor clerical mistake. Here he carried notarized papers, sale prepared and buyer set. Called the place near worthless twice, then spoke May's name before they'd met. 3 names on the register, one hand holding the pen. You can change the introduction, you cannot change where you've been. 3 names on the register, all dressed up to agree. But a name becomes expensive when the room remembers 3. Then Rosa said, Daniel Rusk. His polished smile went still. You look like your father's signature, only he could write it well. Rosa laid the original deed beside his fresh counterfeit. 22 years collapsed between them. For once Daniel had to sit. He said families should be practical. May said families should be true. The wind leaned hard against the office, no alias could pull him through. 3 names on the register, cross the false ones from the line. Leave the first one there to answer for the checks the others sign. 3 names on the register, no polished name to sell. Vincent vanished before sunrise. Daniel stayed to face himself. Cash in advance, Daniel.
People confessed to me because I owned the counter. They ignored Rosa because she changed the sheets. That was their mistake, not hers.
I know what lipstick leaves on cotton. I know which blood comes out with cold. I know the towels men call ruined when the stain is merely old. I know what people leave in drawers, one earring, pills, a wedding band. They think the woman changing sheets has neither memory nor hands. Saint Rosa of the laundry, that's what May calls me for fun. But saints forgive the sinner, I make sure the wash gets done. Saint Rosa of the laundry, no candle and no cream. I keep what careless men throw out. Tonight I kept the deed. Old Mr. Rusk could barely read, but knew the boundary stone. When Daniel brought the papers in, his father's hand was not his own. I found the deed behind the boiler where May's mother hid it flat. 20 years inside a pillowcase, clean, dry, and waiting at the back. Saint Rosa of the laundry, that's what May calls me for fun. But saints forgive the sinner, I make sure the wash gets done. Saint Rosa of the laundry, no candle and no creed. I keep what careless men throw out. Tonight I kept the deed. Don't bless the hands that serve you if you never learn their names. Don't call a woman faithful when you mean she stayed the same. May I did not save this motel so it could become your chain. A house is worth defending, that does not mean you have to stay. Saint Rosa of the laundry, let the title lose its shine. I am not your silent witness, this decision is also mine. Saint Rosa of the laundry, put the old deed on the board. Some things must be carried forward, some can walk out through the door. The dryer stopped, the storm did not.
At 4:15, everyone came into the office carrying evidence: keys, letters, deeds, names. The storm had weakened. Their versions had not.
Office light at 4:15. Coffee burnt one page still clean. Cadillac keys lay on the desk. Original deed beneath the rest. One white veil inside the wastebasket. Half a bag of peppermints. 3 hymnals on the office counter. Corinthians open to the page. Car keys landing flat Nothing in that little pile could make a bride go back again. When the dust sits down, it does not make us clean. It only shows the furniture, the doorway, and the scene. When the dust sits down, no angel comes around. We see what we have covered. When the dust sits down. One sealed letter torn wide open, one clean page beside the bed. Lashes resting in the ashtray, 4 hard lines already read. Truck stop dust across a jacket, 3 knocks still inside the hall. Some deliveries end at doorways. What comes after isn't freight at all. 3 false names crossed from the register, 1 true name left there to stand. Fresh black ink across a forged deed, old blue paper in Rosa's hand. Rosa's pillowcase lay empty, Daniel's pen had lost its shine. Evidence is rarely thunder, mostly dates and crooked signs. When the dust sits down, it does not make us clean. It only shows the furniture, the doorway, and the scene. When the dust sits down, no angel comes around. We see what we have covered. When the dust sits down. Keys beside a wedding veil, letter by an empty glass, Bible open, deed unfolded, 6 names stripped of borrowed pasts. Every object kept its silence, every silence took up space. The office held no absolution, only what they chose to face. May held the key to number 12 like something she was owed. Rosa said the storm is over. May said then I should go. 22 years behind the counter, 1 old map behind her door. The east had started turning gray. The sign was blinking once more. When the dust sits down, it does not call us good. It only makes the next step visible enough. When the dust sits down, no verdict shakes the ground. We choose what happens after. When the dust sits down. At 5:03, the highway light turned green.
After 22 years, I unlocked room 12 as if I were breaking into it. Everything was exactly where I had left it, including me.
The woman in room 12 keeps her shoes beneath the bed. 3 clean blouses, 1 old map, her mother's mirror overhead. No photographs beside the lamp, no suitcase packed in 20 years. She knows the mileage east and west. She knows the names of all her fears. The woman in room 12 has a key to every door. She opens rooms for strangers, but forgot what hers was for. The woman in room 12 calls her hiding place a home. She keeps the vacancy sign burning, so she never feels alone. I said the motel needed me, the pipes, the books, the winter rain. Rosa stayed through every season. Still I made myself the game. I watched brides and thieves and salesmen pack before the desert cool. I called their leaving irresponsible, because I wanted what they could. The woman in room 12 has a key to every door. She opens rooms for strangers, but forgot what hers was for. The vacancy sign burning, so she never feels alone. But so did I. I said I had no wish to drive. Then Rosa knocked, the road is open. This place survives without you here. Give the motel one day alone. Give yourself 1 mile from fear. The woman leaving room 12 does not call it freedom. She is not certain yet of that. The woman leaving room 12 takes the map down from the wall. A life can be worth keeping without keeping it all. One suitcase latch, one door left open.
The road opened at 5:03. Nobody moved for 8 minutes. Freedom is like cold water in an old pipe. It makes a noise before it runs clear.
The storm moved north at 5:03. At 5:10, the road was free. At 5:11, no one moved. Freedom needs a minute too. June put on her other shoes. left the white dress in room 3. Abel drove her to the county line. Not the groom, not destiny. He would speak on Sunday morning. She would call and name the theft. Returning what was taken did not mean returning herself. Ray rolled east with empty pockets. Lila stayed to write the page. No one promised Nell would answer. Sorry does not set the stage. Daniel waited for the sheriff, real name drying in the book. Rosa raised the office blinds and gave him one unblinking look. Eastbound with the sign turned off, morning on the chrome. The road does not forgive you, it only lets you go. Eastbound with the sign turned off, no sainthood to defend. You do not need a perfect heart to make an honest bend. They put coffee in a thermos, left the ledger by the phone. Rosa said, how long you going? They said long enough to know. No farewell beside the highway, no last look designed to ache. She drove beyond the boundary stone before her hands began to shake. At marker 9, the sky was enormous. At marker 10, the motel shrank. At marker 12, she laughed out loud. No wisdom, just a fuller tank. She did not know if she was leaving. She did not promise to return. The sun came up without permission. The sign behind her did not burn. Eastbound with the sign turned off, daylight on the road. The truth does not release you, it tells you what you owe. Eastbound with the sign turned off, no halos to put on. Saints are only ordinary people choosing what they do at dawn. No vacancy for the innocent, no vacancy for blame. Room 12 is open to the morning. The register keeps every name. Last chance motor court, 6 miles behind. Eastbound for now.
Rosa turned the sign back on that evening. I saw the red light in the mirror 6 miles east. For the first time, it did not look like it was calling me home.